What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Speaking of Speaking. I'm your host, Kelly Charles Collins. Now, you know, this podcast is all about cash flowing what you know. Got on my little shirt today, cash flow what you know. And what we're going to be talking about today is speaking of speaking, there is a thief in your business. Yes, there's a thief in your speaking business. And unfortunately, that thief is you. So, one of the things that I'm always asked about as a speaker is like, how much do I charge to speak? How do I get paid to speak? And so many of you are out there. And the reason that you're not getting paid to speak is not because of anybody but you. That's right. It's just because of you. Now, listen, we know that the speaking business, there's tons of money. There is tons of money to be made in the business. When you talk about the conference business, I think in 2023, the stat was that that business, the industry is a $1.9 billion industry and was supposed to be going up to over 2 billion. It's probably over 2 billion by now. But I wanted to look at some other stats because there's so many of you who not don't necessarily want to be on conference stages, but you want to do corporate training. Now, let me tell you about that business. Let me tell you about that industry because I did some research. So let me get my trusty little notes here because I want to make sure that I give you the right numbers. But I did some research on the business because I wanted you to really understand what there is out there. And today what we're going to talk about the thief in your business, and I'm going to talk about how it is that as speakers you are stealing from your business. I'm going to give you 4 ways that you are stealing from your business. But before we get into that, I want you to know how much you are leaving on the table, how much money there is to be made in this business that you're not getting because of the things that we're going to be talking about today. So I was doing the research and I wanted to look at what is going on in the global corporate training industry because we know that there's so many people it seems like who want to do corporate training and who want to do speaking, and sometimes we think, oh, there's too much competition out there. I can't be the one who, they're going to pay. They're not going to pay me. Well, I'm here to tell you they will pay you. And in this episode and one of my following episodes, I'm going to talk to you more about what you need to do to get paid. So let's talk about this industry. The global corporate training industry in 2023, it was a $362 billion industry. Billion, not million, billion, $362 billion industry. It is projected to be an $805 billion industry by 2035. Now, for some of you, you're like 2035, it's only 2025. Listen, it's only 10 years away. And listen, 2025 is almost over. So it's almost in 2026 at this point. But if you think about it, $362 billion in 2023, so just 2 years ago. And in 2035, it's going to be $805 billion. What does that mean for you? What that means for you is that there is money to be made. There's money to be made, but it's not just about like, oh, there's money to be made, so I'm going to get it. No, no, no. You have to do the things to get the money. So one thing you need to do is make sure that you're positioned properly. So if you haven't watched the video about how to get paid to speak, the 6 P's you need, go watch that. Go watch that because I talked to you about your positioning. So you need to know about that. So when you look at these numbers and you look at the $362 billion number, right, from 2023, what that means is that companies are spending about $1,500 per year per employee on training. Some of you all out here are not even charging $1,500. Yes, you're not even charging $1,500 to speak. But if you think about, this is what organizations are paying. Now, yes, this is global, but listen, in the United States, they're spending billions too. Companies are spending billions of dollars. So you have to understand how you get into their pockets. And what a lot of you are doing is you are so afraid. You're so afraid to ask for the money that you're not going to get, that you're not getting it. They are not going to just offer it to you. I'm just letting you know that right now. They're not going to just offer it to you. So you got to get your mind right. You have to get your mind right. A lot of you are not being paid because your mind is messed up. You don't think that you deserve to be paid. And I'm here to tell you, you deserve it. You have all the degrees, you have all the credentials, you have all the expertise, you have all the things. So you have got to stop stealing from yourself. We could talk about the systems, they're there. We could talk about discrimination, it's there. We could talk about whatever we want, all the things that are external, we could talk about all of those things. But until you realize the things that you are doing to cause yourself to not be paid or to be underpaid, the cycle is going to continue. So what is it that corporations are looking for? Before we talk about how you're stealing from yourself, what are the corporations looking for? And why is it that they are out here spending all of this money? They're spending all of this money because they realize that there is a value in upskilling their employees, right? I was looking at the study and it said there's an increased demand for skill development, advancement in digital learning technologies. So if you are using AI or if you use tech to deliver, right, your training, they're looking for you. They're looking for you and they're willing to pay you. And the third thing was a rising emphasis on employee engagement and retention. And we know this is a problem, right? Because we know that organizations, especially since the pandemic, have been having all these problems, the great resignation, quiet quitting. Now they're trying to force people back into the workforce. So they have a problem with employee retention. So if you do training around anything that can help them to retain employees, you should be in the money. You should be in the money. And when I talk about things around employee retention, don't always think that you have to do something that is specific to recruiting, right? Or hiring or something like that. There are many other things. There are many other ways that you can help organizations retain their employees. So you need to look at, what is it that you do? What is your area of expertise? What is the value that you bring to the table that you can help them with employee retention? We now know that this is a huge issue. It's always a huge issue, but it is a big issue in terms of what they're paying for globally to bring people in around training and paying them this $362 billion. You need to be a part of that. You need to be a part of that. Businesses have to stay competitive to upskill, right? By upskilling their workforce. Their workforce has to be skilled in order for businesses to stay competitive. Inside of organizations, they have their own brain trusts. They have their own expertise. But you, as an outside expert, a thought leader, have other types of expertise, other ways in which you can help to upskill the workforce that their internal people don't know how to do. This is why they pay outside speakers. This is why they bring in thought leaders. This is why they bring in consultants. You have to figure out where you fit in. What is the problem that you can solve for them? And that is how you will get paid. And the last thing they were talking about is, they were talking about a lot of things, but the last thing I want to talk to you about before we get into these, how you're stealing from yourself, they were talking about this emphasis on soft skills. Many of us do training around soft skills. For example, I do training around high stakes communication. Communication is quote unquote a soft skill. And many of you also train on things that are soft skills. And you think that because you're training around a soft skill, that companies will not pay. They will pay. Soft skills are valuable. The ability to communicate, effective communication, is the number one skill that people need to succeed. So think about what it is that you do. Think about what your expertise is. Think about how you can help organizations and understand that there is value in that. Many of you are not getting paid because you don't see the value in the work that you do. You don't see the value in your own expertise. And because you don't see the value, because you don't understand the industry, you're stealing from yourself. So let's get into it. Let's talk about these 4 ways that you all are stealing from yourselves every single day. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. And the reason why it drives me crazy is because I understand that there's so much value, right? There's so much value in what's in your mind and what you know. And we really discount that. So speaking of discounting, speaking of speaking, and speaking of discounting, that is one of the first ways that you all are stealing from yourselves. And what I mean by that is you are discounting your fee, your speaker fee, before anybody even asks you to. So what does that look like? What does that look like? And I'm going to give you a specific example. I was speaking to a speaker. This was during the pandemic. And I remember seeing on her site on Twitter, she was on Twitter, and this is somebody who was being sought after, right? She had written a book that everyone wanted her to come and speak about, and they had her, everywhere. And I remember having a conversation with her about her fees and just saying, hey, don't leave your house for less than X amount of dollars. Do not come out of your house because at this point you are in demand. You are in demand. And so you have to show up in that power and you have to command and demand the fees. And after the conversation, I wanted to just send her an email, and I sent her an email, and she was out on tour at the time. And the email response came back and it said, I'm on tour. If you want to get in touch with me, here's how you can get in touch with me. My speaker fee starts at my speaker's fee is $5,000, but it's negotiable. So I was like, no, if you say your speaker fee is 5,000, but it's negotiable, then the fee is not 5,000, right? You're already discounting the fee. You've already told them that that's not the fee. I just put that number out there. And so many of you, when people ask you what your fee is, you're so afraid to say the number that you say, for example, my fee is 5,000, but if you want to, I could do this. Or what you start to do is add on all kinds of things because you feel you're so afraid of the number. The reason that you're afraid of the number is because you have not done the work to determine what the actual number should be. I'm doing another video about the rules. So after this video, go watch the video about the rules. I call them the mogul money rules, right? Monetization rules. So go watch that because it's important for you to understand the value so that when you say the fee, you shut up and you don't discount. So the first way that you all are stealing from yourselves is discounting your fees before anyone ever asked you to. So if the fee is 5,000, then say 5,000 and shut your mouth. Do not discount. Okay? Second way that you all are stealing from yourselves is undervaluing, undercharging. So this goes back to the first one, right? Discounting, but this is not even discounting. The first one where you're discounting, you know the number. You're just giving them a way out. The second way, when we're talking about how you're stealing from yourself and undervaluing, you're just not even charging what you're supposed to charge. So you're not even saying the $5,000. You're out here counting people's pockets and worrying about whether or not people have the money to pay you. And so because you're worried about whether people have the money to pay you, you know that your fee should be 10,000. You know that your fee should be 20,000. You know that your fee should be 30,000. But you're so scared and worried about what other people have in their pockets that you're coming in and saying, when somebody says, "Well, what's your fee?" That's I think that's like one of the scariest questions that speakers who aren't sitting in the power of who they are, that's one of the scariest questions that they get. What is your fee? Ah! Like, oh my God, I don't know. And once somebody asks you that, you might just say, "Oh, it's $1,500," because you think, "Oh, $1,500 is going to be it." Like if I say just $1,500, or if I say $500, or if I say, "Well, what is your budget?" No. Stop undervaluing yourself. Stop counting people's pockets. Say what it is. Say what the number is. Let them respond to it. Stop undervaluing your expertise. Y'all are out here with every certification. You keep going to get certifications. You keep going to get another degree. I have people, I've had lawyers ask me like, "Oh, should I go get a for what? You had a Juris Doctorate. What are you going to get a certification for?" Now, if it's something specific, like I have a client who was getting training and certification in AI. Now that's different, right? We're not taught AI as a lawyer. So that's a different, I'm not talking about those things. And I am all about professional development and personal development. So don't think that that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, look at what you have. Look at who you are. Look at all the things that you've already done. Look at all the education. Look at all the personal and life experience. That is the value. And stop undervaluing what it is that you know how to do and what it is that you're offering to corporations, or you're offering on stages, or you're offering to your coaching clients. Stop undervaluing yourself. You get mad, right? When people just don't pay you, or you say they underpay you, but you're the one who's decided that that number is okay, though you know that that's not the right number. So that's on you. And that's the second way that you're stealing from yourself. The third way that you're stealing from yourself is speaking for free without a strategy. Don't speak for free without a strategy. Now, I know that in this business, people always tell you, listen, when you're starting out, you have to speak for free. Get your reps in. I'm all about getting your reps in. I'm not about you like just starving your bank account. I'm not. There is a difference. There is a difference between speaking for free because people tell you that's what you're supposed to do in this business, as opposed to speaking for free because it is a strategic decision. Huge difference. There's a difference between quote unquote speaking for exposure because somebody told you that, oh, you'll get great exposure, and speaking for exposure because it's a strategic decision. There's a difference. So let's talk about it. Speaking for free. So when I came into this, when I decided to transition into becoming a full-time speaker, people were saying that, like, you need to speak for free, or, if you're you're just starting in this business. So this is another lie. You're starting in this business. And so, there's tiers. And if you're like 0 months to 2 years, you should be charging 500. Or this thing about new speakers charge 3,500. New speakers charge whatever the hell new speakers want to charge, right? And can say and can back up. That's what you charge. And the idea that I need to speak for free to kind of audition for you is ridiculous. Who auditions when all these stores put out their products and they're new, right? A new line of something, a new line of handbags, a new line of perfume, a new line of vegan food. Do they put it out there for free to see if y'all like it and then they charge for it? No, they do not. They put it out there with the price that they think it is valued at, and they see what you do with it. So here's the thing. You don't have to speak for free. Started from the bottom, now we're here. No, we're going to start at the top. And the top is what you can feel comfortable saying at that moment, and then back up with the delivery. So when we're talking about speaking for free, what I'm saying is there has to be strategy behind it. It's not that you don't do it, but it's also not that you have to speak for free. You do not. There are many people out here who do not speak for free. So let's look at what this means. Let's look at how do we get around this trap? How do we not fall into, and I always say, like, speaking for a bag of chips? How do we get around that? Well, the thing to think about is that when you are speaking, you can speak to get paid, or you can get paid to speak. Getting paid to speak means this is usually somebody who is a keynote speaker, that's what they do. So you got to pay them up front, because what are they not doing? Anything on the back end. They're not doing coaching. They're not, they might be selling a book, but that's not the way that they make their money. The way that they make their money is on stage as a keynote speaker. Therefore, they need to get paid to speak. So they can't speak for free. They won't speak for free. They don't speak for free, right? So you have the keynotes. Then you have people who, and it's not only keynotes who get paid up front. You could be a trainer and get paid up front, corporate trainer, right? Corporate trainers are going to get paid up front to speak. There's nothing on the back end. So there is the get paid to speak model. There's also the speak to get paid model. So when you hear speakers out here saying, oh, I speak for free. No, the hell they don't. Some of them do, but the ones who actually, that make money, they're not, when they say that they're speaking for free, they're speaking to get paid. And what that means is they have made a strategic decision that that room, that space, that stage that they're going into has money for them on the back end, has money for them in the audience. And so the reason why I always say that exposure, or speaking for exposure, is a lie is because when people tell you about speaking for exposure, they don't know who your client is. They don't know who your ideal client is. They know who their ideal client is, and those are the people that they have in the audience. But if they're telling everybody, the 10, 20, 30 speakers that they're going to have on stage, as they often do at these conferences, that, oh yeah, your ideal audience, your ideal client is in the audience. No, they're not. How do you know that? How do they know that? It's a lie. So what do you have to do? So that you don't steal from yourself, you have to do your due diligence about who's going to be in that audience and make sure that this is a stage where you can speak to get paid. That's the strategic decision. Is there cash in that audience? Is there leverage in that audience? What is in that audience for you? When you finish speaking, are you going to be able to get corporate clients? Are you going to be able to get coaching clients? Are you going to be able to sell people into your retreat, into your mastermind? Are you going to get people to be able to buy your books? And when you think about how much money is in that audience, you need to be thinking about, if they were to pay me for this, if they were to pay me my full fee, so get paid to speak, if they were to pay me my full fee, can I get that same amount of money from this audience? And you might not get it right then, but is there a runway? And think about, how long is that runway? What makes sense to you strategically for your business for that runway? Is it that that audience has to generate, say your fee is $15,000 to speak. Is that audience going to generate $15,000 for me in the next 10 days, in the next 15 days, in the next 30 days, in the next 60 days? What is your runway for that? And remember that if this is your business model of continuing to speak to get paid, and you have these very long runways, your bank account could be in trouble. Right? You're stealing from yourself. Your bank account could be in trouble if you continue to speak to get paid. Don't look at what is there, right? What is in the audience? Is this even really a real opportunity for me to get paid on the back end? And if your runway for that to convert, for that event to convert, is too long. So you got to look at these things, and you got to stop speaking for free. It seems cute to be on stage. I know it looks all fun, but it costs money to be on that stage. And so if you are just continually speaking for free without a strategy, you're stealing from yourself. You are stealing from your business. All right. Number 4. What is the fourth way? The fourth way that you all are stealing from your business. The fourth way is something that I talk about all the time. This is an idea and a methodology that I have generated in this business and really looked at because when I came into the business as a speaker, I had to figure this out. And it is the CEO versus talent. You might have heard me talk about that before, the idea of CEO versus talent. And when we talk about stealing from your business, when you show up as talent always in your business, you're stealing from your business. Let me explain. Talent, we're speakers, we're trainers, we're consultants, we are the show, right? And that's the talent. We are the talent. So we have a speaking business. I have a speaking business. I have a training business. I have a consulting business. I have a mentoring business, whatever it is, right? Whatever you want to call it. And inside of that business, the person who actually delivers to my clients is talent. I'm the talent who delivers. However, I also own this business. I am the CEO of this business. And so the CEO of the business is not the person who's delivering. The CEO of the business is the person who actually and I say CEO to make it short, right? CEO versus talent. But you have to think about, in the business, unless you have team, your CEO, your sales, your marketing, your HR, your advertising, your finance, your all the things that are responsible for the operation of the business that allows talent to be on stage and to deliver for the clients who are paying the business. But what happens is that because we want to be on stage so badly, so, speakers, we want to speak. What do? Speakers speak. So speakers want to be on stage. We want to be out there doing the thing. We're trainers. We want to train people. We want to create impact. We want to shift people's perspectives. We want to transform our audiences. Where do we do that? We do that on stage. So that is the thing. That's the place that we want to be, is on stage. So the mistake that you make, however, is that because you want to do that so badly, when you are in conversation, when you are in sales conversations around getting on that stage, you show up in that conversation as talent. And when you show up in that conversation as talent, there is a conflict of interest. That's the lawyer in me, right? There is a conflict of interest because the talent don't care nothing about the operations of the business. The talent wants to perform. The talent wants to be on stage. So if they say they have no budget, or oh, it's exposure and you have all these people, there's going to be 10,000 people and you can get pictures and all the things. Talent's like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be on that stage. I want to be out there. I want the people to be clapping for me. I want people, the standing ovation. I want all the things. Nah. Talent, being talent alone is going to keep you broke. You have got to show up in these conversations as CEO, sales, marketing, HR, finance, all the things. Because those roles understand what it takes to get talent on stage. What are the expenses? What are the costs? What does it cost you, talent, to go deliver to that client? And if you do not get that in your head, if you do not understand that you have these different roles in the business, you will continue to steal from your business by showing up as talent in these conversations. And I know I'm getting on y'all today. I know I'm snatching some edges around here, but it's the truth. It is the truth. And I had to learn this because listen, we want to be on like what do we want to do? We want to talk. We want to be out there with the people. We don't want to be here, but this is most of what we do. The unpretty parts, right? The unpretty parts is most of what we do as speakers. And if this is a business for you as opposed to a hobby, because I'm not talking to the hobbyists, right? I'm not talking to the people who just like to be on stage and they could speak it. They don't care and they don't care if they get paid. Like they're not trying to make this a business. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those of you who have an expertise, who want to cash flow what you know. I'm talking to you. And if you want to cash flow what you know, then you are going to have to understand that when you are in a sales conversation, you cannot be talent because talent will steal from you. CEO is thinking, oh no, oh wait, you want me to show up for what? To do a workshop for 4 hours and you want me to, how much? $1,500? Mm-mm. It costs us $1,500 just to get our hotel and flight and all the stuff to get there. $1,500. No, we going backwards. Talent's like, ooh, $1,500. I get to, yeah. No. Talent steals. Talent steals from your business. So you cannot show up in these conversations as talent. So these are just the ways that I see like that people are you your people you are people that you're stealing from your business and then thinking like, well, why can't I get paid? Why is it that such and such is over here and they're getting paid this amount of money? Because they're not doing the things that you're doing. They're not discounting when nobody asked for it. They're not undervaluing themselves. They're not speaking for free without a strategy. And they sure aren't showing up in sales conversations and negotiations as talent. They're not doing that. So you need to stop doing it, right? You've got to get your mind right. You've got to understand that you deserve to be paid. You deserve to be paid for your value, the value exchange that you are giving them, the transformation that you are sharing with them and their employees and their audiences. You deserve to be paid for that. But you have to believe that first. You have to believe that first before anybody else is going to give you that money. And then you got to take action. You got to take action. It's great that you sit here and listen. I hope you've been taking notes. I should have told you to get your pen and paper out, or your notes, phone, wherever you take notes. It's one thing to listen to me tell you this and for it to, ruminate in your mind. It's another thing for you to take action. So here's the action step that I want you to take away from this episode. What I want you to do is that the next time that somebody asks you to speak, if you've been speaking for free, if you've been undercharging, and when they say yes to the $200 that you told them, and then you mad about it and you're like, they should really be paying me $10,000. Then the next time that somebody asks you to speak, I need you to ask them for $10,000. I need you to ask for a number that is greater than zero. The thing I always tell my clients, when they tell me a number that's 3 figures, I'm like, no, we don't do that. You need to add a comma and zeros. So the next time, this is your action step from this episode. The next time that someone asks you to speak, I want you to make sure that you say, my speaker fee is whatever that number is, greater than zero, and zip it. Don't say another word. That's how you're going to stop stealing from yourself. That's how you're going to stop stealing from your business. So, as I said, speaking of speaking, it's time to cash flow what you know. So remember, if you have not yet, because I know there's lots of y'all watching, but you haven't subscribed yet. We can see that you haven't subscribed. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so that you know when the new episodes come out. Drop a comment. Let me know what your ahas, what your takeaways are. Share this with somebody who needs to know. And go watch the other videos. I'm going to be doing a video. I haven't named it yet. I haven't named the video, but it's going to be about my mogul monetization rules. So we just talked about, how you steal from yourself, but I'm going to give you some rules around how to make sure that you are able to cash flow what you know. So until next time, y'all, take care. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check the show notes for any links or resources from this episode. If you enjoyed it, leave a review, drop a comment, and subscribe so you never miss an update. Also, follow me on LinkedIn and subscribe to our newsletter for more behind-the-scenes content. Stay tuned for our next episode.